We've got some great games coming up again. Yep, he's got
Heading to
time.
Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah, Sean,
Skip
look
the
for a new
traffic
one
and the
next week.
sky-high room rates of the Strip.
Very
Book
good.
your stay at the South Point
You're
Hotel,
good. No,
Casino,
you just
and
don't need
Spa.
that one number. Never mind.
The South
Okay.
Point is located
So
just
far,
7 miles
we're
away
quite
from the
a
stadium,
few
and it's a
hours from
quick
Vegas.
trip up the
Very
freeway,
true.
making it an affordable
Yeah,
rideshare
we'll
or
be
taxi
following.
ride.
See you later, everybody.
And don't
Thank
worry
you,
about
Chris.
getting here when you land
all
in
right, Brian,
Vegas.
do we
We
wanna take a
offer a
quick break? We'll come
convenient
back with our
airport
best
shuttle to
bets,
get your getaway
our
off to a
poll
stress-free
results,
start.
and tickets
Shuttles
for
are
you.
also available on Raider
You're
game
ready?
days for a small
Yeah, I'm
fee.
good.
Ryan's ready. I'm not.
So
I'm
whether
gonna throw it
you're
to
rooting
Ryan.
for
He's
your
gonna go
team or
over
seeing your
the
favorite band
tickets.
in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
All right, let's get right to it. Fun one for you here on Sports by the Book. We're all here. Alex White, Ryan McCormick, Matt Neverett. We're down to 8 teams in the NFL. Divisional round coming up this weekend. We are going to do our initial deep dive into these matchups live with you here on today's show. Please let us know if you are watching live. Jump in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. But guys, last night was the final game of the wild card weekend. Tough one for the Steelers to go out like that, but Houston's defense showed up when they needed them most, and they are moving on. Matt Neverett, you lived in Pittsburgh for a while. How did you feel about that game last night?
It was a fun game, objectively. As somebody who I would say I'm neutral on the Steelers, especially growing up as a New England Patriots fan. I love making the joke that I lived in Vegas for a while growing up, and then I moved to Denver and then Pittsburgh. Right at around the time that Brady and the Patriots were running the AFC year after year after year. So they gave me a lot of smack talk privileges as a kid in those two cities. So I have a great relationship with those cities because of that. But yeah, that was tough. Biggest playoff loss in Steelers history. It was the bucking of trends, if you will. First ever road playoff win for the Texans. It was the first Monday night loss ever for the Steelers. I thought that was an interesting trend. Not really a bettable trend, but something that was just that stood out about that game. And the Texans dominated. Is this it for Aaron Rodgers? Who knows? I don't know if he wants to necessarily go out in a game like that. I could see him coming back strictly because of that. You know, he's kind of a couple of guys in the past that have done that. But yeah, crazy game. Texans defense doing what they do best and scoring twice as well.
Looking forward to talking about the matchup now. Texans will go to New England, take on the Patriots. But Ryan, you were on the correct side. Winning day for both of us, which we've been on a pretty good roll here. But football got the first half under, did not get there with the Steelers. Ryan, he was on the right side there with the Houston Texans.
Yeah, felt pretty good there. I just trust in the Texans defense. They ultimately ended up piling it on there at the end. Steelers first team in NFL history to lose 5 consecutive playoff games by double digits. And then Jack Andrade posted the Steelers have 3 points and 32 yards off of C.J. Stroud's turnovers. And granted, he fumbled 5 times, but Sheldon Rankins, who returned the fumble, Aaron Rodgers' fumble, got more points and return yards on that play alone than the Steelers had off of the Texans' turnovers. So, yeah, it was not at all a good offensive night from the Steelers there.
And that's one of those plays where Rankins stumbling, rumbling, bumbling into the end zone where no matter who you're rooting for, no matter what you're doing, I found myself literally stopping and going like, come on, big man, let's go.
You always do that, right?
The big man touchdown. Somehow it was way more satisfying than the pick 6 by the safety where he looked like he was at least in 3rd or 4th year.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to give you a lot of trends as we go through these 4 matchups coming up here shortly. We'll go through each game individually. But, Ryan, let's kick it off with some trends from last night.
Yeah, so I guess we'll look at the other professional sports leagues before we put a stamp on we'll just put a stamp on the divisional round first. So favorites in the divisional round, or wild card round, went 4-2 straight up, 2-3-1 against the spread. The Bills won when it was a pick, closed here as a pick at the South Point. And then the totals, 2-4. So 2 overs, 4 unders. All the 2 games to start wild card weekend went way over the totals. And then every other game since has gone under the total. Now going to the hardwood. There were 6 games in the NBA last night. 3-3 were favorites straight up and against the spread. All 3 underdogs, or all 3 favorites to lose against the spread, also lost on the money line. And totals in the NBA, same as the NFL over the weekend, 2-4, 2 overs, 4 unders. And then looking at the NHL, 9 total games, favorites 4-5 straight up, 6 of which were covered with a puck line. 2 of those were reverse puck lines. And the totals, 5-2-2, 2 pushes. And in my plays yesterday, 2-2 in the NHL. But ultimately a positive day, up 1-3-5. So there you go.
Very good. And Matt, I want to ask you, we've kind of talked about the unders in the NFL. There were a lot of trends leading to that, all wildcard games being outdoors. And the first 2, because there was another trend, if it was a rematch, those 2 had already played each other, then those tended to go over more than the others.
Mm-hmm.
We looking forward to this weekend? Or are you going to be looking for some unders?
I probably, especially with some wintry conditions expected in a couple of these stadiums. And I think generally speaking, I like leaning under in playoff games anyway, similar to the primetime angle that I usually take during most regular season games. And I think there's a couple of these matchups that kind of lend themselves to an under. I'm looking at the Patriots-Texans. I think that the Bears-Rams line is going to be set a little bit higher than it probably should be. I don't know if both of those teams have the offensive success that they typically do. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think Bills-Broncos could be a game that goes under as well, but I can see that one flying over. That's the one I probably have the least strong opinion on, but I think Patriots-Texans absolutely leaning towards an under at this point.
And then, Ryan, that kind of goes right with our poll question for the day, right? Where we're asking everybody who is watching live to jump in and give us your thoughts, but go in the other angle.
Yeah, opening overs. Which divisional game do you have an early appetite for the over on? So we gave you the 4 games and the 4 overs. Niners, Seahawks over 45.5. Bills, Broncos over 46.5. Texans, Patriots over 41. And the Rams and Bears over 50.5 is where it sits now. So all of those prices, minus 110, available here at the South Point.
Yeah, that Rams-Bears one is just intriguing. I don't know if both of those teams are going to have the offensive success that they've been able to garner, especially with the week of prep. And I don't know. When does the Bears magic run out? You tell me, Ryan.
Let's hope it doesn't. But it just to kind of put it on the table, it should be a top 10 temperature game in Soldier Field history, top 10 coldest games in Soldier Field history, and it will be the coldest game in Los Angeles, or really entire Rams, going back to them in Cleveland. It will be the coldest game in their playoff history.
Cannot wait to break down these 4 games. So let's get right into it. And for those of you who are watching us live, you know we like to give out our best bets at the end of the show. We will do that as well. So after we break down these 4 games, we'll get into some of our best bets on the hardwood. We've got some college basketball bets for you, and we do have some hockey. Got to keep it going there. I hate that we're going to have such a long break in February, but I'm loving right now that we have a ton of hockey games each and every night, 10 on the board tonight. But let's get right into it. Let's start off with the Saturday matchups. 2 teams with a disadvantage who just played this past weekend. 2 teams who got the 1 seed have a nice break here. 2-week rest for both Seattle and Denver. We're starting with the rotation number, which is the later game. So 389, 390, the Niners, the Seahawks, these 2 split in the regular season, 1-1. But Ryan, I'll kick it off to you first if there's any trends or anything. But Seattle, I mean, they really shut down the Niners offense in week 18. And now the Niners are the team that needed the rest the most.
Yeah, the Niners game, or this will be sandwiched in between an Eagles game was sandwiched between the most recent matchup between these 2. And so the Seattle gets to prepare for the same team that they last played against. And the Niners got a little bit of a breather and now get to reset and go back to Seattle. But a funny note for all 4 of these divisional round games, and I'll mention it as we get through each one, but it is the 3rd playoff meeting all time between every single one of these matchups, but 3rd playoff meeting between the San Francisco 49ers and Seattle Seahawks. 2013 NFC Championship game in Seattle was won by Seattle 23-17. And then the 2023 NFC wildcard game was in San Francisco, and the Niners won that one 41-23. So the home team has won both games in this matchup in the playoffs so far. But all time, Seattle leads 23-24. Seattle leads 17-12 in Seattle. But the Niners have won 4 straight meetings in Seattle. So we do have a write-up by Action Network's own Evan Abrams in the description of our video, talking about trends for every single game in the divisional round. If you guys want to check that out after you hit the subscribe button, of course.
Of course.
But yeah, to kind of start things off, Sam Darnold in his career as a favorite of 6 points or more, 13-0 straight up, 10-3 against the spread. And you kind of take that with the Niners being as banged up as they are. The market's trusting Seattle here with it moving now over the 7 to 7.5.
Well, it's interesting, Ryan. You mentioned that article by Evan Abrams on Action Network. The first trend in the article that popped out to me was in this game. Since 2003, home teams in the divisional round coming off of a bye are 43% ATS, and as a favorite of 7 or more, they are covering at just a 40% clip. That applies to the Seahawks in this game, so I think that's interesting. I think that this game is probably my favorite under game of the week. The look-ahead line as well was 5.5 to Seattle, so it's up to about 7.5. I think George Kittle is worth 1.5 at least in a game like this, especially in a potentially cold weather game. His impact in both the run and the pass game is worth easily 1.5, almost 2 points, and we've seen that reflected in the difference between the look-ahead line and where we stand now. And look, the 49ers dealing with that crushing injury. They've got to travel on a short week to a division foe that they have had not a lot of success against as of late. I think over 45.5 is going to be a tall task, especially when you consider that San Francisco, in the 2 regular season matchups against these Seahawks, average 10 points per game.
That's right.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring, close game. I'll give you a little tease for the end of the show. This game is in a tease that I'm going to have in my best bets. And if you read between the lines, you could probably guess which side I'm going with.
Matt, I think you're dead on. I'd had this number about 6.5 here, Seattle at home, but that is before factoring in George Kittle. Now, of course, did tear his Achilles. So it's just a very banged up 49ers team, kind of gave it their all to get that win over the Eagles.
Yeah.
Up against it here, if you look at the 2 matchups in this regular season, week 1, the Niners did get the win. You mentioned it, though, just 17 points, held the Seahawks to 13. And then in week 18, a very low-scoring game there, Seattle 13-3. I will say, kind of sets up for that under. Seattle really leaning on their run game and then their nasty defense. I mean, it's them, Houston, and then probably Denver, all 3 teams here in the Elite 8 that all have fantastic defenses. So they're going to lean on their defense to slow down the Niners offense and lean on their run game. We saw it in week 18. We had the combo, Kenneth Walker Jr. and Zach Charbonnet really got them both going. They rushed for 180 yards against this Niners defense. So I think they will go to that too, especially with some extra time off. Both guys fully rested here. Sam Darnold didn't throw a passing touchdown in either of the matchups,
Which is insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe they want to switch it up a little bit, and because they're kind of playing, okay, we did this well. What is Kyle Shanahan going to change?
Yeah.
But then, okay, so he's going to expect that. It's going to be interesting to see. But 2 really good coaches going in this one. 7.5 feels like a lot of points, but the number's also kind of telling you something.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, too, Shanahan is one of the handful of coaches in the league, like Shanahan, McVay, maybe a couple others, where you're anticipating those adjustments, like you had said, and that can really almost take away from what your team is trying to do. You're so worried about what the other team is going to do and what adjustments you need to make to their adjustments that I can see that kind of taking away from what you are trying to do. Or you get a team like the Texans on defense, they don't adjust anything. They know exactly what they're doing, and they do it very well. It's kind of the opposite here for a team like Seattle from a mental standpoint.
Well, we got Drew Dogs putting up the exact odds or exacta odds here at the South Point. And we got the Niners up right now. And if you did take the Niners over the Broncos last week, you lost value. You got it at 60-1 last week. It is now 70-1. But if you took any of the other results, you gained a bit of value. But now the most likely one, viewing it as most likely, it is between the 2 AFC East teams getting to the Super Bowl for the AFC side. But if you look over at Seattle's, the best value there is It was 80-1 last week for the Seahawks to defeat the Patriots.
Oh my goodness.
It's now 10-1.
It's an insane leap in 1 week.
So yeah, we'll kind of talk about the exact odds and the movements and where the value has shifted as we talk further through these matchups. But yeah, some extreme value there from 80-1 to 10-1. And if you got it, good for you.
What was Seahawks with the Texans, Ryan? Do you know? Actually, I have my sheet too somewhere from last week. I know Sean really liked that one, so I'm curious if he actually took
I believe it was around 70, but now 15.
Wow.
But yeah, all of those dropped pretty steep, except for the one against the Broncos. We kind of see it with the Bears as well, but the results for Seahawks or Bears to beat the Broncos didn't move at all. So, but to kind of go back to trends for this game, teams in the playoff the year prior versus not. Team that was in the playoffs, 49ers, the team that was not, the Seattle Seahawks, 34-18-1 against the spread, including last week's results. But in the divisional round specifically, and this one is a shout out to Evan Abrams, the team that missed the playoffs, this would be the Seahawks, is 29-14 against the spread. So thinking they'll getting it done at almost a 2/3 rate, and then over a 2/3 rate, and revenge trend. So team suffering the most recent loss in the regular season, 17-10 straight up. That would favor the 49ers. And then another one to favor the 49ers before one to favor the Seahawks. Teams with a bye are 33-44-1 against this spread in the divisional round since 2003. And since 2020, they are just 3-7 against the spread.
Wow.
So that one favors the Niners. And then teams winning in the wild card round as an underdog are 8-30 straight up.
Oh, wow.
19-19 against the spread since 2003. And since 2011, they are 3-22 straight up. 13-12 against the spread, though. So
that tells
could
you,
be a tight game.
the spreads are covered and there's some tight games, but yeah, that magic runs out. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I
That's an
thought.
interesting one.
I don't know if it is in this article, but there is going to be another trend that is broken if the Niners do go down. And we know Kyle Shanahan, since coaching the Niners, it's either miss the playoffs or make it all the way to the NFC Championship,
bust.
right? But might fall a little bit short here in this divisional matchup now, going against a division foe. But it should be a good one here. As we get going throughout the week, Ryan and I will have more props, kind of dive into this. I brought up 2 running backs from the Seattle side that I'll probably be looking at with Charbonnet and or Kenneth Walker. Christian McCaffrey really shut down the first 2 times these two played. It would be interesting. And Brock Purdy threw 3 picks in those 2 games. 2 in the first one, did have 2 passing touchdowns as well, but then 1 pick in the second game. No touchdowns for them scored at all in that one. So that might be an angle to look at. I'm sure you have to lay a pretty juicy price
I would
for
imagine.
Purdy to throw
No, I
a
mean,
pick.
worst case, you just have their backup quarterback, Juwan Jennings, throw it to Christian McCaffrey, right?
That's right.
That was a good throw.
I think he had more explosive plays of 13 plus or more than Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's saying something. Antoine Randall L, baby. Let's go.
So looking forward to this one. 7.5 biggest spread for the weekend, though. Niners up against it. Beat up, kind of stumbling into this one, but ultimately it's still very good coaching staff, good organization, so they'll give them their best fight. You're getting over a touchdown. We'll keep it moving here. But Ryan, did you have any official plays in this one yet?
It is a look to the under, and it is a look to Seattle. The Niners needed George Kittle in Week 18. They played. He got 5 receptions, but the offense still wasn't able to get anything going. So without him, it's going to be even more on Christian McCaffrey's shoulders. And sure, if you want to throw it in with Juwan Jennings, but the trick plays can only do so much, and you can only use so many. But they will empty the bag in order to advance and defeat a divisional rival. But I do think, the Seahawks get it done, and this game goes under.
And the line movement in this game is going to be critical as to where the money is. I think as soon as it gets to 7, we're going to see a bunch of backing on Seattle. And I think if it gets up to 8, I think we see movement the other way. So I think this one may toggle right between 7, 7.5 all week long.
Really curious to see, like you said, where this does end up moving, because I think that will tell you a lot here. But let's keep it moving. Let's go to the AFC side here with the Denver Broncos, the 1 seed, and that just moved here recently at the South Point. We are at a pick'em now. Chris just told us yesterday that is where he opened it, got initial money on Buffalo, so they were a 1-point favorite for about 24 hours. Total 46.5. Again, another team, very good, probably the stronger quarterback that you trust more. Kind of similar with the Niners and the Seahawks there. But you got Josh Allen on one side, right? But they are pretty beat up. And now Gabe Davis got hurt in that wild card game. They kind of sacrificed Josh Allen to get that win over the Jags. So what are we thinking, Matt, in this one? The Broncos at home. It's a pick 'em against the Bills here.
I don't think it is. It's telling, I think, that the money is all of a sudden coming in on the Broncos after the initial barrage on the Bills. Look, they're not any more healthy or injured than they were when this line opened. So it's just funny the storyline and almost like colloquially where the money's going. People kind of realizing like, oh yeah, the Bills don't have any wide receivers. Oh yeah, outside of James Cook, they don't have any running backs right now. Oh yeah, Josh Allen's playing on one leg and has been for a couple of weeks. And also the Broncos have been resting and waiting. This is, I think, one area where it kind of goes against that trend of the team that has the week off, struggling potentially to cover ATS. And look, the Broncos, their rush defense is among the top 5 in the league, just about every category across the board. I don't think that the Bills are going to be able to run much at all outside of James Cook, and I think they're going to be able to shut him down. And this Action Article Network by Evan Abrams has some gems in it. This is one that I found in this game. If the Broncos do close as a dog, it'll be the 4th time in the last 40 years in the divisional round that the home team coming off of a bye wasn't listed as a favorite. The previous 3 times, the dogs won. The home dog won all 3 occasions straight up and covered ATS as dogs in all 3 of those. So I think that if the Broncos do close as a dog, it is the right pick. I think as long as you can get the Broncos as a pick 'em or better, I think that's the pick as the 1 seed, playing at home, week off, all the injuries. This is another one that I'm going to include in my teaser. I think that you can get 6 points on the Broncos. I think that's a good thing at home. I love looking at close home dogs in the playoffs. This is just about that. I love all those other storylines as well. And we've also seen with the movement on these exactas, the books think it's going to be Patriots-Broncos for that battle for the AFC Championship next weekend.
Well, Matt, there are a few books out there that still have Buffalo as a favorite. You might be able to tease Denver up to 7 if that is what you were initially looking at.
That is huge.
Do you want to say your other side, or you want to wait till the end to give both of your teaser legs?
I already gave it out in case our listeners are eagle-eyed, eagle-eared.
Okay. Ryan, to you, Bills, Denver, any trends you want to throw out there before you give us your best bet in this one?
Really, I guess kind of some all-time notes. So Buffalo leads all-time 24-17-1. The most recent matchup was in last year's playoffs, so a little revenge factor here probably. But the Bills won that one 31-7 in Buffalo. And as I had mentioned for the Niners and Seahawks, this is the 3rd all-time meeting in the postseason for these teams. 1991 in the AFC Championship game in Buffalo. The Bills did win 10-7. In last year's wildcard game in Buffalo, the Bills did win 31-7. So the Broncos have only put up 7 points in the 2 previous postseason meetings, but both of those were in Buffalo. And I think this game being in Denver is a huge factor. That crowd is going to be able to make an impact. But you can only make so much of an impact when the difference maker at quarterback is one of Josh Allen's caliber. We kind of seen it in the matchup against Jacksonville when the Bills' offensive line was kind of able to take control and really lead the way, I guess, for Josh Allen. The Bills were able to do what they want. And this game is absolutely going to be played at the line of scrimmage because the Bills want to run the ball and not necessarily test the secondary of the Denver Broncos. So I do think it will be a more run-heavy. I do lean to the under because of that and the pace of play. And we've seen the Broncos play in tight games all year, and their offense kind of struggle. So I do think the total being at 46.5 where it is too high. So I would go under there. And you kind of talk about teasers, whichever way you want to go. If you can get it one either side and get the 7, take the dog with the 7. I do think this will ultimately end up being a very tight game. So. But best play of where the numbers and not having to tease would be the under here.
I think you are correct there. If you even want to do 2 teasers and have both teams on there getting 7 and have different books there where you can tease those up. But you said it, Ryan. I mean,
she was ready.
This is bulletin board material, right? For Sean Payton. First of all, you're the 1 seed and you're the underdog at home. And then just put that number up from last year, 31-7 on the road for the Broncos. Of course, Bo Nix was a rookie last year, and they still lean on their run game a lot. It does hurt, no J.K. Dobbins, but I mean, they're thinking too, let's get through this game, and he may return for the next round and Super Bowl. So that would be huge for them. But the other thing that you mentioned about the run game for Buffalo, they just faced the number 1 rushing defense in the Jags. They shut James Cook down, 46 total yards for him. Now they have to see a top 5. I think they're number 2, actually, the Broncos, against the run. And the Jags, they're 21st against the pass. Ryan mentioned it. The secondary is really good. Denver 7th. So this is an all-around better defense. I don't think Josh Allen's going to be able to do what he did. And, I mean, how many injuries can the guy take? You said ankle injury going into that game, possible concussion, and then a knee and a hand injury in that first wild card
He's
game.
running out of body parts. I don't think there's many more places that you can hurt.
It's going to be rough.
He's going to come out with like a collarbone injury and then like a nose break. Like,
well, hopefully not. Hopefully everybody gets out of this
we're
game
playing
in
Operation
one
with Josh
piece.
Allen.
But it's a lot to ask for him, right? We'll see if they can get James Cook going to help out there. But the passing game too, they'll lean on their tight ends, but it's going to be tough for them. So question for both of you, because before going into the postseason, I know a lot of people like to look at their brackets, right, and pick the teams as they're going through. I think a lot of people are having a hard time getting past the Broncos. They saw either the Bills or the Jags, both of them. The Jags were the hot team going in, right? And then it's Buffalo's year. So I think they're having a hard time getting past that and maybe seeing Denver move to the next round. Would you guys agree with that?
I think so. Just kind of colloquially, just talking to people. The Broncos defense hasn't gotten enough credit for what it's done this year, especially against the run. I'll bring that up again. They're top 5 against the run in just about every defensive metric across the board. So I think with that, plus the development of Bo Nix, I think that this is a really scary team, especially at home, especially with a bye, and especially with the injury advantage. I don't think that, I don't think the Broncos get enough credit. I'm with you 100% on that.
We'll add a sports by the book stamp of approval there. Yeah, I definitely think the Broncos haven't necessarily gotten the respect that they have earned so far this season. And I mean, kind of talk about the injuries for the Bills, but remember that dad strength might be piecing Josh Allen back together. But if we want to take a look at the exactas, Drew, we'll go with the Bills first. If you took Bills over Rams last week, it dropped from 45-1 to 16-1. And that other than the Seahawks, that is the shortest price, but it's pretty close there with Bills over the Seahawks. And then if we look at the Broncos side, if you took Broncos over Rams, that's really, or Broncos over 49ers is the biggest mover, but Broncos over Rams cut in half from 40-1 to 20-1. And then Broncos over 49ers moved from 300-1 to 75-1. And then the two with the Seahawks and Bears did not move much. I think it was actually 16-1 for the Seahawks, Broncos over Seahawks last week, now 17-1. Not necessarily, I guess the books aren't putting respect on what the Broncos earned this year. But yeah, the Bears did not move much.
I was going to say, it's surprising to me to see in the divisional round the 2-1 seed as an exacta being 17-1. I think there's value there, especially if you think that the Seahawks can get past the 49ers this weekend. I think that's the more tricky side in this exacta because of that divisional matchup. 17-1 between the 2-1 seeds at this point feels high.
I think it was actually 18 because I took a little bit of Broncos
Down
over
one?
Seahawks and Broncos over Rams. To
There's
your
value
point,
in
I
both of
think
those.
those two might end up playing next week,
There's
which would
value.
be a crazy game following that Thursday night game we saw. But so, yeah, that one did barely drop there. But, yeah, that's a good point. Last year at this time, I mean, look at the Rams and the Broncos. That's about right for those seeds, but 2-1 seeds. People aren't expecting both of them to make it there.
Now, especially when there's other exactas that are 10-1 or less. I think that there is value there, especially if you want to try to get it now. What was the one that dropped from 80-1 to 10-1, Ryan?
From 80-1 was Seattle over New England,
Which
80-1 to 10-1.
again, yeah, if you got on that train last week, good on you.
Yes, very. Because I do think the Patriots actually are kind of sneaky here now.
Now, if Seattle and Denver both win this week, I know the exacta price is going to be slashed at least in half, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, and they'll both have home field next
exactly.
week.
So I'd like that line. If you can get that right now with the 1 seed is 17-1, I would snatch it up.
Trying to think, like, because this is where I usually struggle with my exactas, and typically I try and take the team that's going to be the favorite, right, in the Super Bowl. So probably going to be the Seahawks over Denver if you want to look at that way
think so.
instead of, but then that's only 12-1. So
Interesting.
depends on what you want to do there. Maybe a little Broncos and then hedge out of it if they do both make it to the Super Bowl. I don't know. All right. Any last little notes on this one? I think we're all leaning to the under, right?
I think so, yeah. I'm going to lean to under on just about all these.
Agreed. There's one that I am a little hesitant about with the under, but Ryan already mentioned it's going to be really cold there. I don't know if we have our first half out yet at the South Point. I did grab Circa's earlier. Looks like 23. And they actually had the Bills minus half a point in that first half, which Broncos have a little bit of that Chicago way, right? That fourth quarter heroic. So that could be why Buffalo starts a little bit quicker.
Fighting McCormick's.
They're in the market, though. There are a couple of 23.5s on the total. And then there are also, you mentioned Circa having Buffalo minus a half, but there is also Denver minus a half. There's also Denver minus 1.5 in the market. First half there on those lines. And then the last thing that I wanted to note with the all-time, just because Buffalo leads all-time in Denver, 8-5-1. All 5 of those losses, though, have come in the most 7 recent games in Denver. Since 2000, Buffalo leads 6-5-1, encompassing all matchups in Buffalo and in Denver. But that's really how kind of things have evened out is since the turn of the century. And the first matchup was 2002. So really, if you want to say since 2002, Buffalo leads 6-5. When all time, it's 24-17. So.
I have a feeling a lot of our regulars are very happy with us in the chat right now. Hopefully other networks and shows are talking about the Bills a lot, though, because we have a very big Broncos fan. Did you know that?
Who's that?
In our chat that watch us all the time. A lot of Bronco fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Highlands Ranch. That's where I was out there for a while.
Very good. We'll see if anybody jumps in and knows what you're talking about, because I have no idea. And Ryan acts like he didn't. So, all right, let's go to Sunday's matchups here, because these are actually in order. We're going to start with the early game, and that is Matt's team, New England. They are hosting the Houston Texans. They're a 3-point favorite. Yesterday, there were 2.5s everywhere. I missed it. I'm going to wait and see. I think this is going to continue to move back and forth here, 2.5 to 3. Total 41 here at the South Point. Matt, you got any trends for us before you kick it off and tell us why you like the home team here?
Well, how do you know I like the home team?
I do, actually.
I like the home team. It's tough. This one's more of like a storyline game for me. You know, I'm a big trends guy. This Action Network article from Evan Abrams has a couple on it, but it's the toughest defensive test of the season for New England, no doubt about it. And this is where we find out how much that strength of schedule storyline comes into play. How much do you trust that? You got Houston traveling on the road in wintry conditions for a second straight week. I'll be interested to see in the early stages who wins the battle of the trenches. I think if any game goes over, it's going to be this one. Not by a ton, but I could see like a 28-24 final. I think both teams do find a way to generate a little bit of offensive success. And Drake May has been great against the blitz this year. He's been great against man coverage as well. The Texans run the most man, and they run the most straight-up blitzes without stunts in the league by a long shot. They don't do anything different than what they're showing you pre-snap. And we talked even before the show that I was kind of surprised at the struggles that Aaron Rodgers had against this defense, because they don't hide anything.
Right.
They line up pre-snap, they show you what they're doing, and they say, let's go. See what you can do, see if you can stop us, because they trust the dogs that they have on that side of the ball. So I think that the Patriots, with the offensive line surging as they have at this point, getting Will Campbell back and healthy enough, has been a huge step just from a morale boost for this team. And I think that while the Texans have been probably the best storyline in the league this year, starting 0-3 and doing what they've been able to do with the dominant defense, I think it does come to a stop. I'm 100% biased. I will fully admit that. I think I could see this one going slightly over. I think it'll be a tight game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points in the early stages. I think these two teams kind of figure it out as the game goes along.
Just to push back on that over really quick, and then we'll go to Ryan and get his thoughts. But the Patriots defense has gotten better over the season, right? And there's a lot of talk right now with Zach Kerr, who is the insider linebackers coach, and his play calling, because he took over. And the Chargers had even admitted that they had no idea what was going on. They had no idea what they were seeing. So because it's the Chargers O-line and then the Texans O-line, these are two of the weakest units that we've been talking about all year. I think that is going to make it pretty tough here for CJ Stroud. On the other side, I mean, we just saw this Houston Texans defense, right? And they don't even have to send 5. They can put pressure on the quarterback with just 4 up front. So I think points might be at a premium. I do like the Patriots side. I think that they'll find some more success than the Texans offensively, but just to be careful. It is a low total, though, so you never know.
Yeah.
A lot can happen, but I would look to the first half under again, as I did with both of these first two matchups, Chargers, Patriots, and then Houston Steelers last night. So 20.5 is what I'm seeing out there, just to kind of avoid if things go crazy in the second half.
I also did lie. I do have one trend on this game.
Okay, very good.
That teams coming off of short rest in the divisional round or later, since 2002, since division realignment in 2002, when the Texans were introduced to the league, the team with the short rest on the playoffs in the division around 6-15 straight up. And that applies to the Texans this week. So they've got a short week, got to go on the road. And I think that is a good storyline as well to talk about. That Robert Spillane quote from postgame about how the Chargers were so just befuddled, and the Patriots just absolutely blanked them, especially down the backstretch of that game. So I think that's going to be something to watch.
Well, kind of opening this up, we talked about it opening in the market as Patriots minus 2.5. We have now moved to a 3.5 here at the South Point. This is where I think it'll toggle between. I do think the concerns with Nico Collins absolutely plays into that. He already had a concussion earlier this year. Texans on a short week. It's going to take until Saturday at the best for him to get to clear concussion protocol. There's 5 steps to it.
I
You
doubt
have to do one each day. Nico Collins is more than likely not going to play in this game.
Rough.
If Christian Gonzalez is cleared from concussion protocol and is able to be part of this Patriots defense, that's just another added factor against the Texans. I really do think that the right side is the Patriots in this game. The number now moves with it, and people are laying the 3. And we'll see if it moves past this 3.5, and the Texans, even more questions about CJ Stroud and his ability to take care of the ball and place things where they need to be, which were absolutely in question last night. And kind of talking about cold weather, teams that play in a dome going to cold weather, 22-32 against the spread, I believe, in the last 20 years. So
that's a bettable angle.
Texans having to play outdoors, and now you also add into effect, Matt had mentioned the Evans Abrams article. It is in the description of the video. So after you hit the subscribe link, you can go to that and check it out for yourself. But it is for every game in the divisional round. Drake May is undefeated as a 3 or more point favorite. 11-0 straight up, 9-2 against the spread. And the Patriots win those games by an average of 16.6 points per game.
Wow.
And then as a favorite overall, not just the point spread playing into account, but the Patriots did lose when they were a tighter than 3 favorite. 11-1 straight up, 9-3 against the spread in those games. So if it gets back under the 3, maybe the Texans have a chance, and the market will believe that. But I don't think. I know I've been enamored with the Texans defense. I think it's the best unit of all the units in the playoffs left, really starting the playoffs. But the questions with CJ Stroud and the health of Nico Collins will absolutely play into this game. So I'll be taking the Patriots at home.
And I'm hoping that this one gets back down to 3. If for some reason this thing gets back under 3 to 2.5, I'm going to try to scoop that up. If it's stuck at 3, if we get to Saturday and it's still stuck at 3 or even 2.5, if it's at 3, you would assume the money line would be like 170, 165, something like that. I would lay that as opposed to a full 3 points, because when it opened, it was at 2.5 and the money line was at about 150. So you would assume 3 points, you get about 160, 165. So if it gets down to 3, I'm going to take a bite of the money line over 3.5. It makes it a little bit tougher to stomach. I still think the Patriots are going to win and cover that number.
There is a minus 165 out there here in Vegas that you can get on the money line. You got to imagine this is sharp money coming in now, especially here at the South Point. Because last night I was watching real time, and every game kind of went to 2.5. So that was people last thing they saw, right? And kind of the dominating fashion, taking the 3 with the Texans last night as they're watching them beat the Steelers. But now, I mean, today, I think some sharps are coming in and laying the points here with New England.
And I mean, look, the Texans put up 30 points on the road against the Steelers in one of the harshest road environments in football. I get that. But 2 defensive touchdowns against a 42-year-old quarterback and a team that just didn't have anything going all night long. I think people may be reading a little bit more into it than they will be able to against a team like New England next week.
Young O-line, too, there to protect Aaron Rodgers. So a lot of things did not go their way there.
Yeah, that said more about the Steelers than it did about the Texans last night, in my opinion. Not that it didn't say anything about Houston, but I think it said more about Aaron Rodgers and Pittsburgh about where they are right now.
I agree, but I also think it speaks to the fact that when a defense is able to play with the lead, is able to pin their ears back and have their hair on fire and just go.
Especially that defense, yeah.
Yeah, they're able to do a whole lot of things. But we saw it with the Texans defense, and we also saw it with the Patriots defense against the Chargers. When things were kind of out of question, as soon as Mike Tirico shouted out the fact that the Patriots defensive pass rush isn't good and the Chargers O-line is able to stand
They
up,
hurt him.
and then they pile it on. And I think get 2 sacks immediately right after they say that. So
Eat that, Mike.
yeah, I do think this will be a very tough defensive battled game, but do more so lean to Drake May being able to get it done with those guys, even though I love this Texans defense. The things that I kind of wanted to point out all time, and then looking at, we'll look at these coaches first. They do have some familiarity, as Mike Vrabel's final year in Tennessee was DeMeco Ryans' first year in Houston. So they had two divisional battles in 2023. DeMeco Ryans' team won both of them. So DeMeco Ryans 2-0 as a head coach against Mike Vrabel. But all time, the Patriots lead this against the Texans 11-4. Until last year, the Texans had never won in Foxborough. The Patriots were 7-0, now 7-1, thanks to last year's win for the Texans. But it is the third all-time playoff meeting between these two teams, as it is for every single matchup in the postseason. But every one of those in this one has been in Foxborough, has been in the divisional round, and it has been won by the Patriots. So even though the Texans have won 3 of the last 4 between these two teams in the regular season, that last meeting was the first time they had won by multiple scores. But I do think the Patriots will be able to do enough, led by Mike Vrabel, and that team getting fired up enough to have a chance to host the AFC Championship game, because maybe the Broncos don't get it done, but the Patriots do get it done here.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel might have had King Henry there in Tennessee, but did not have a very good quarterback, right, to go up against DeMeco Ryans in those first 2 meetings. But I'm excited about this one. I mean, you're right, Ryan. Best unit left with the Houston Texans defense, and then the Patriots, the fun, hot story. And I mean, I've been a very balanced team all year, so we'll see. But if you do like the Patriots, I would jump in now. There are still 3s out there, and we might start seeing 3.5s pop up everywhere and kind of follow Chris here at the South Point. He usually waits for bets. There's other places in Vegas that do as well, but then there's some that will just kind of move, anticipating some sharp money coming in. Potential first half under there, just the last little thing.
I like that one.
And I will say, Woody Marks, fantastic story.
Yeah.
Been great for the Texans, but Steelers out of the top 15 in run defense. Patriots sitting there at 6.
And Christian Kirk isn't putting up a $190 this week. Regardless of the outcome of the game, I can confidently say that he's not going to have another career game, because that was something. That was something to watch. I think as soon as Nico Collins went out, they were looking for that next source of passing attack, and it was Higgins and it was Kirk, and they were just like, oh, they're not covering him as tight as they would be anybody else. Let's keep going to him. He made some outstanding plays individually as well.
Yeah, he really did. Stepped up big. Yeah, you're right. You got Christian Kirk and Higgins, and then the other rookie from Iowa State there. So
it's also, I'm looking at these exacta prices again. You know, I saw the Patriots. The Patriots over either of the 2 top NFC seeds was less than it would be for the Broncos to win over the other 2 seeds.
Wow.
There's just something about that Broncos one that is just fishy to me. I don't know if good or bad, but it's telling, considering that, look at Broncos over the Seahawks and the Rams, the 1 and 2 seed in the NFC, is less than the AFC 1 seed over either of the other 2 seeds.
I think the tough thing
right there
also, Matt, is, okay, so think about this. Say the Broncos beat the Bills.
Yeah. Well, those numbers are going to get slashed.
I am curious if we have the AFC odds, if the Bills are the slight favorite here. But then they have to go up against either the Houston Texans or New England Patriots. So
on the road for both, right? Yeah.
Yeah, those two will be
they're done at
Mile High. So it is interesting. There we go.
The Bills, the favorite. Tied, I guess, but it's tough. Hey, good year to be from the AFC East, I guess. Unless you're Mike McDaniel, but
well,
these odds are telling, and I think that they will completely flip next week. Not flip, but I think it's going to be a clear-cut favorite one way or another with whatever happens this week in the AFC.
Well, depending on if the Broncos show up here and actually win convincingly over the Bills, forget that number.
I
mean,
think
they're
that's
going
the
to have
biggest
home
one,
field. Yeah. So I think you're making some solid points there. Not a lot of believers, though.
If you think the Broncos win this week, go ahead and take both of those exactas. That's my express opinion.
Very good. Maybe even instead of just betting on that game, take a little piece of that one.
17 and 20 to 1.
Last but not least, the big NFC showdown on Sunday night. We got the Rams and the Bears here. 3.5 is the number. Doesn't look like we've moved off of that here at the South Point, but I am starting to see some 4s pop up in the market for the road team, being the favorite here. Total 49.5. Both defenses definitely have their flaws. Been very impressed with what we've seen offensively. Both have a lot of weapons. We talked about this one yesterday, Matt, with Chris Andrews. He said he didn't make it quite this high. He's starting to see the cracks from this Rams team. What are you thinking? What's your your initial thoughts on this matchup here?
Well, just in the market, it's interesting to see the movement on the total. A 2-point drop from where it opened yesterday. That tells people like us that it's sharp money coming in. I think if you're looking at an over, now is the time, because as we know, especially come the playoffs, as I call them, the jabronis come in on Friday and Saturday, and they'll bet the favorite and they'll bet the over. So I don't know if this line gets much lower. If it drops to 49, I may take a piece of the over. I don't know. That's more of like a principled pick from that point, because I think this is going to be a lower scoring game if you had to put an opinion on it. We'll see about the weather. We'll see about Matt Stafford's hand in that weather. I think that was a worse injury than he let on, but that's just kind of the way that he rolls. He's not going to, especially this time of year, go out unless he's physically like dead, like unable to get out there on the field. He would throw left-handed if he had to. I think there are some interesting trends in this one. The Bears have now won 7 games this year while trailing with under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That's the comeback kids. Again, Bears, 7 games this year they've won when trailing in the fourth with under 5 minutes to go. That's huge come this time of year. I think that the second half is going to determine this game. These are the number 2 and number 3 second half offenses in all of football, both averaging about 15 points per game. So wait until halftime. Take the second half over whatever it's going to be, because they're averaging 30 combined points per game in the second half. Working in the Rams' favor, LA 8-2 straight up, 7-3 ATS in their last 10 games as road favorites. However, the Bears in their last 10 against the Rams have gone 8-2 ATS in their last 10 against the Rams, 8-2 in their last 10 at Soldier Field as well. So there is a home field advantage, and I think we saw a little bit of that leak through in the game last week.
We definitely did. And it's a very good point you make about the second halves there. If you like the Rams, they are minus 2.5 in the first half. I think that might be the best way to play this. This is the toughest one for me. I made these numbers right here. I am a little bit higher on the total. To your point, I'm closer to 54, but
wow.
I do want to check the weather. Ryan had kind of already previewed this with the weather, right, Ryan? And it's going to be very cold there in
Tough
Chicago.
to go over 50 in the coldest game ever for the Rams.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. Top 10 coldest games in Soldier Field history, and the coldest playoff game ever played in Los Angeles Rams. All of the Rams history, going back to them in Cleveland. But bringing in history, all time, the Bears lead 55, 39, and 3. The home team has won every single game since the Rams moved back to LA in 2018. So 5 meetings since then, all 5 won by the home team. But it's also the 3rd playoff meeting between these teams all time, as it is for every single game in the divisional round. 3rd all-time meeting in the playoffs for these games. 1950 in LA, the Rams won 24-14. 1985 in the NFC Championship game, the Bears won 24-0 in Chicago. So even in the playoffs, the home teams prevailed. Chicago leads 32-14 and 2 all time in Chicago. So, yeah, I am a Bears fan. I will be rooting for them to get it done. I will have no problem taking the 175 on them to get it done. But I am more confident in the Rams team to be able to get it done and do what they need to do in order to advance to an NFC West battle in the NFC Championship game. Because it is Sean McVay's offense versus a Dennis Allen defense. Sean McVay against Dennis Allen is 6-2 straight up, averaging 29 points per game by his offense, Sean McVay's offense. And the two did meet up in the playoffs in 2018 in the NFC Championship game. And the Rams won that game because of pass interference wasn't called. But it set up a Rams-Patriots Super Bowl there. So 26-23 was the final in that NFC Championship game in 2018. The Bears defense stood where they needed to in the second half. They got things done against the Packers and really in the second half all year. But depends how big of a hole they dig themselves in the first half. But with it being as cold as it will be, I don't know if it'll be that large of a hole. The only thing that makes me question it a little bit is the fact that the two guys leading the Rams offense, maybe not Puka Nacua, but Matthew Stafford has plenty of familiarity playing in an NFC North battle in the cold, being in Detroit for so many years. And Devontae Adams has plenty of history playing in Chicago in the cold and in Green Bay. So some guys used to NFC North battles, NFC North cold, but kind of got out of it being in LA the last couple of years. So
lucky them.
Hopefully, yeah. The domed outdoors comes into play, 22-32 against the spread, favoring the Bears there. And then some more trends. Teams in the playoffs the year prior versus teams that were not. Rams in the playoffs last year, the Bears were not. 34-18-1 against the spread. But in the divisional round specifically, the team that missed the playoffs is 29-14 against the spread. So if it continues to move, maybe getting a 4 here for the Bears, definitely would like this game to stay within a field goal. But teams that have won in the wild card round as an underdog are 8-30 straight up, 19-19 against the spread since 2003, and since 2011, 3-22 straight up, 13-12 against the spread. So hopefully a close game. Hopefully the Bears find a way to win. But yeah, that's what I got here.
I mean, I equate this year's Bears team in MMA terms to like a BJJ fighter, jiu-jitsu, where for a lot of guys, you get them on the ground, you get them on their back, and that's where they're at their worst. But for the Bears, they don't start feeling comfortable until they're down by like at least a touchdown, right?
Yeah, that's when Caleb Williams feels comfortable putting on the Superman cape. And yeah, when he feels playing most comfortable. But I just don't think
against a well-coached team like the Rams, top to bottom on both sides of the ball, I just don't think that if they get up by 10, 14 points, that they're going to allow a team like the Bears to come back, despite the fact that they've shown it and done it all year long. I think I would rather put my money in the more established thing when it comes to the Rams this time of year and Matt Stafford as well.
Although the Rams did do it last week against the Panthers.
That is true.
So I would be much more confident in the Bears than I am in the Panthers.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I will just say these odds are really interesting to me if you're looking at odds to win the Super Bowl or even conference. So the fact that the Bears are only 3.5-point favorites and the Niners are 7.5-point favorites, and their odds are almost the same, 17-1, 18-1, that's to win the championship, and then they're both 7-1 to win the NFC. I think there might be a little value there with the Bears, or if you want to flip it and you like the Niners, don't bet them future market like that. Roll over the money line for the Niners. If you think they're going to win 2 games in a row, I wouldn't take that 7-1, right? You want to take them on the money line to beat Seattle and the money line in the next one. But
yeah, you're going to get better odds.
That's crazy to me.
Well, we were looking at, like, Ryan, while you were just talking, can we please put up the odds to win the Super Bowl? Because something stood out. And like, so right here, you see the Broncos' second worst odds to win the AFC as the 1 seed. And when we show the championship odds, the Broncos as the 1 seed playing at home with the week's rest are the worst odds to win the Super Bowl out of the AFC. I don't get that.
I think Chris has money on the Texans.
That plays a part of it.
So I think that might play a little part of there. But still,
even the third worst odds to win the Super Bowl as the AFC. The books are severely, and I don't know if it's the books or the public as much, or if it's a split of both, severely underrating the Broncos. And this is from a Patriots guy. I hope they match up next week, and I hope that the Patriots have to go to Denver, because the books are just severely undervalued. And I understand that for South Point specifically, as an old school joint, a lot more of the action and the odds are dictated by action than by storylines and trends, as compared to some of the bigger, old, newer books. But that just doesn't make sense to me, that the Broncos as the 1 seed with a week off at home against a banged up team have the worst odds to win the Super Bowl out of that conference.
People act like it would be the craziest thing for an AFC West team to win a bunch of one-score games and then make it to the Super Bowl, if not win the Super Bowl. I feel like we've seen this movie before with Andy Reid
I think so.
and some guys.
A couple times, yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. They've survived a lot of
they're over
games,
the Kansas City hump. Anything is possible in the AFC West.
That's very true. I mean, they survived a lot of them, but they do have to get past the Bills first. And people also might be looking at the fact that the Jags beat up on the Broncos, and then the Bills found a way to beat the Jags. But I don't look too much into that.
It's like that's a very like Joe Public type of thing. Like, what have you done for me lately? Which I understand in certain regards, especially when it comes to injuries. But generally speaking, you've got to take the whole year into context.
All right, let's put a bow on this really quick. Who are the four teams coming out of this round? Matt, I'll start with you. Who are we going to see in the conference matchups next week?
Give me Patriots. Give me Broncos. I like the Rams, and I like the Seahawks in a close game.
Uh-oh. Ryan didn't like that. I'm just going to say squared everything he said. I'm on the same four right there. Seahawks and Broncos, the home teams get it done. The 1 seeds move on. I like the Patriots at home, but I do think that favorite with Matthew Stafford and company finds a way to win a close game against the Bears. Ryan, where are you going?
1-2, 1-2.
Bears can't win all 4 games, Ryan.
Yes, they can. They will win all 4 games this weekend. They will win all 4 games they play in the playoffs. I'm going 1-2, 1-2.
I like
Broncos, Pats, Seahawks, Bears. Although I do agree with you guys. Going into the playoffs, I thought we would get the Rams Seahawks matchup. I thought it would be in this round,
right?
But it wouldn't surprise me.
Give me a Patriots Rams rematch in the Super Bowl.
Imagine how Seahawks fans felt this past weekend, right? It looked like they were going to have a matchup. Wait, which game was first? Because it looked like first they were going to be playing the Rams, or they were going to be playing the Packers.
Yep.
It was Packers first. The Bears come back and beat them, so then they're matched up with the Rams. And then the 49ers find a way to get the win. So they're like, okay, we don't have to play the Rams. Niners are coming to Seattle.
If the Niners did beat, or if the Eagles beat the Niners, it would have been Rams, Seahawks, and which a matchup I would have much rather preferred. I would have preferred the Eagles to win against the Niners. So that way the Bears got the Eagles and the Rams got the Seahawks.
Yes.
But that doesn't matter. So
yes. I think Niners or Eagles, that is the matchup that people did want in this round. Nobody wanted the Rams yet.
Not yet.
Yes, including the Bears. Okay, do we have a poll result before we get into tonight's action?
We haven't ended it yet.
Okay, well then we'll give it a second.
Get those votes in.
Yeah, that means we haven't got enough votes yet. Please, if you are watching live, let us know which game you'd like to go over the total. I think maybe that Rams Bears is a in-game. You wait it out. Yeah. It's a low scoring, kind of feeling it out, weather, getting used to things, and then you go on the over.
And again, the second and third highest scoring teams in the second half all year, they average 15 plus points per game in the second half each. So that's definitely an angle that I'm going to be taking a look at.
I agree. Waiting to see how many, and I mean even yards per
I also
play,
just
both
voted
of them
on the
top
poll.
10, top 5, and then can give up some yards too. And okay, all 3 of our votes are in.
There we go.
We did have Attila in the chat looking for where the exacta prices were. He was finding 2 to 1 and 9 to 1. At the South Point, they are definitely what we're showing. I'm not sure which book you're looking for, but South Point, the odds that we have for our exactas are all larger than 10 to 1.
Matt, Brian, do you want to run through those kind of really quick so everybody can see? Because we've got 8 teams. You can go through them where those odds are here at the South Point. I do think there's some great opportunity. Last year, going into this week, I did get a nice 18 to 1. So there's opportunity if you feel strongly about 2 teams moving forward.
Sure. We do have the 1, 2, and the 5 and the 6 remaining on both sides. But we'll start on the AFC. Whenever you're ready, Drew Dog, I'll just start. We'll go Broncos against the Seahawks. Broncos over Seahawks, 17 to 1. Broncos over Bears, 60 to 1. Broncos over Rams, 20 to 1. And Broncos over 49ers, 75 to 1. Going to the Patriots. Patriots over Seahawks, 14-1. Patriots over Bears, 60-1. Patriots over Rams, 16-1. And Patriots over 49ers, 65-1. Texans over the Seahawks, 16-1. Texans over Bears, 65-1. Texans over Rams, 20-1. Texans over Niners, 70-1. Bills over the Seahawks, 14-1. Bills over Bears, 50-1. Bills over Rams, 16-1. And Bills over 49ers, 60-1. Again, all these prices available here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Moving over to the NFC side of things, starting with the 1 seed Seahawks over the Broncos is 12-1. Seahawks over the Patriots, 10-1. Seahawks over the Texans, 15-1. And Seahawks over the Bills is 10-1. Going to the 2 seed Chicago Bears over the Denver Broncos, 60-1. Chicago Bears over the New England Patriots, a rematch of the 1985 Super Bowl, would be 55-1 now. Bears over Texans, 70-1. And Bears over Bills, 50-1. Going to the wildcard teams, the Rams over the Broncos, 12-1. Rams over Patriots, also 12-1. Rams over Texans, 16-1. And Rams over Bills, 12-1. So looking pretty confident there in the Rams. 49ers over Broncos, 70-1. 49ers over Patriots, 60-1. 49ers over Texans, 75-1. And 49ers over Bills, 60-1.
Yeah, Ryan, you're right. Very confident with the Rams there. Might have some liability there too, because a lot of people have been pretty high on that team all year long.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the NFC favorite for pretty much the entire year.
And Alex, in your experience with these exactas, it seems to me, and you can tell me if this is true or not, it seems to me that the books will tell you a little bit more about their liability come this time of year with these exactas than just the market price in a game or even the futures market, right?
No, I completely agree with that, definitely.
So it is interesting. Like, the books don't think the 49ers are going to win this weekend. The books think the Rams are the best team since the 85 Bears, and they think that the Broncos are this year's version of the Las Vegas Raiders, apparently. Again, that being said, value on all those Broncos exactas, I think.
Yes, I agree.
And in the chat, Jern, yes, I did give you a homer playing the Patriots earlier. And that's okay.
Looks like somebody else in the chat is ready for us to hit some hockey. So let's take a quick break. When we get back, let's give our best bets on the hardwood, and then we'll go to the ice, and then we'll get everybody out. And we will, of course, do ticker trivia and go through our poll results right here on Sports by the Book when we get back.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
All right, we are back here, Sports by the Book, on a Tuesday. Please make sure and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all of you who have done so in the last couple months. Our numbers are getting up there. Please also give us a follow on all of our social media pages, Sports by the Book and Sports by the Book LV on Instagram. Okay, Matt, started off, you like a couple games on the hardwood, which I guess we'll kind of just go. Are you ready to go board by board?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm very ready. Got some college basketball plays. I'll be doing UNLV Boise State tonight at 8 o'clock. Catch us on ESPN Las Vegas locally in the Varsity Network app if you are so inclined. But I got a couple of interesting angles elsewhere in the country, starting with the Big Ten. Long-time Big Ten rivals, Oregon and Nebraska, going at it tonight in Lincoln. And I'm on under. And this Nebraska team is maybe the single hottest team in the country at 16-0 to start the year. One of, I think, just 4 undefeated teams in all of college football, or college basketball. Nebraska wishes that they were doing that well in football. But I think Nebraska's defense this year has been a revelation of sorts. They've been outstanding on that end of the ball mainly. They're only allowing 66.5 points per game all season long, and they've played some top-tier opponents. Couple that with Oregon sliding, losing 3 of their last 4 and starting Big Ten play 1-4 overall. I think it's, a team that's struggling offensively versus a team that's found a defensive identity this year. I think Nebraska is legit. Defense travels when we get later into the year. This one at home, I'm with the Cornhuskers on an advantage. I think they win this game running away. It's like 10.5, something like that. But I'm on the under, 146.5. I don't think that they're going to need to score that many points. I don't think either team gets to 80 in this matchup. And then the other one that I have, kind of an old school matchup, Georgetown at Creighton. This one also in the state of Nebraska. I guess I'm taking a Cornhusker type of day here. I didn't even realize that until right now. But I'm all over the Blue Jays, laying 9.5 at some shops, all the way down to 8 at certain places. So a lot of the money coming in on the other side. I will fade that public movement. Georgetown has lost 3 of their last 4, they've lost 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5. In 16 games, the Hoyas also 3-13 ATS. Not only have they lost, they've gotten obliterated. Creighton's looking for their 8th straight home win as well. So they've got a ton of momentum, and I've done a game in that arena. It can really be disorienting and loud, especially come conference play. And the number that I think is going to swing this one way or another, especially as the spread gets tighter. Again, it opened at 9.5, closer to 10. It's like 8 now, and I think it'll close maybe 7.5 or 8. Creighton's one of the best free throw shooting teams in the entire country. Look for this game to be close late. They're winning by 3 or 4 points in the last minute or two. And then they get to lean on their 85% free throw shooting as a team. They are a top 5 free throw shooting team in the country. I think in a matchup where the spread is going against you, I think that could be the difference between a win and a cover versus just a close win at home over a conference opponent sliding in the standings and really struggling ATS. So give me the Blue Jays to cover 8. I got it at 9. I'd feel comfortable playing it at up to 9.5. And then I'm on the under in Nebraska, Oregon, mainly a play on Nebraska's defense.
Love it. Ryan's still finishing up his board, so I'll go to some of mine next, and going to continue it with some college basketball plays. Joey B, don't worry. I've got 2 home revenge from games last year. I'm going to start it off in the SEC with the Texas A&M Aggies catching 9.5 on the road against Tennessee. And the main thing is the Aggies are playing great basketball, and this is not Rick Barnes' traditional great defensive team. They are better on the defensive side, 13th at defense efficiency, but offensively 46 right now. And they have really struggled with up-tempo teams. We saw it twice against Florida, which they're coming off a pretty bad beating, 91-67, and then Arkansas, where that pace was a little bit higher, couldn't really keep up, lost that one 86-75. Texas A&M likes to run it. I think they're going to be in this one till the end. Oh, to give you last year's result, it was 77-69. So I like that home revenge factor. And then I'm going to go to Virginia here, who lost to Louisville last year at home, 70-50. This one is a little bit tougher because it is a new coach here for Ryan Odom, now coaching the Cavaliers, so that home revenge doesn't really work. But Virginia's playing really good right now. They're actually higher than Louisville, ranked on KenPom, and I think that is warranted. So I think they should be a road favorite. I'm going to take the 3.5 with Virginia against the Cardinals in this one. 2 on the ice. I'm going with 2 overs. I'm going Vancouver and Ottawa over 6. And I'm going Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh over 6. Starting with Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh, I know Vasilevsky is playing on the second of the back-to-back. He is their number 1 goalie, of course, but really just looking at the median numbers for both these teams, 4 goals for, 3 goals against. If we can keep that going, which I think both can offensively, it's more about that than the defense. So I think this number should be 6.5. I'm going to go over 6 here with a chance to push like I did last night. And then where's my Vancouver and Ottawa? Here we go. Both of these have backup goalies going. No Demko, no Olmark. So we do have Lankinen and then Merlankin on the other side for the Senators. And both of them, median numbers 6-6, but again, a number that I think should be closer to 6.5. So some value there.
Ryan and I both just saw the same news at the same time, I think. Do you want to break it or should I?
Well, I've got 2 different ones in 2 different sports, but we can say it together if you want to do that.
What's happening?
How about the
Mike
big
Tomlin?
one?
I'm scared.
Mike Tomlin
Steps down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach.
So we'll see him on TV next fall.
Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Wow. He's going to get a pay raise and a half to do that, too.
That's nuts.
Harbaugh to the Steelers?
That would be hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
I do think he's more likely to go to Atlanta or New York.
I think so, too. But
But
oh,
it would be
my
really funny.
goodness. Stefanski to the Steelers?
I mean, we kind of saw this coming,
The
right?
writing
I
was
didn't
on
see
the
him
wall.
stepping down.
Yes.
And this is, I can only imagine, this has happened, and we're sorry to completely derail everything that we were just, the momentum that we had built. I've seen this happen before. And to what extent this is true or not is hearsay one way or the other. But I've seen this before where a guy like that, a respected guy who's been there forever, and especially in a franchise like that, they say, listen, Mike, we're getting rid of you one way or another.
Yeah.
We got 2 press releases written. One says you're fired. One says you're stepping down. Which one do you want us to publish? I've seen it before. I don't know if that's the case here, obviously, but him stepping down after the year they had, that's what that says to me.
I agree
And
completely.
he'll be just fine. I'm not worried about him.
No, I think it's good for both parties. I mean,
And it's an
just
improvement,
like
I think, in a lot of ways for the
Baltimore.
Steelers.
yeah, I think it was time.
Here's a crazy name to keep an eye out for. I know he's wanting to get back into coaching. Not John Gruden, Jason Garrett. I'm like 99% serious.
No,
No.
I know you're serious, but whoever makes that hire is making a mistake.
It goes from one guy who's really good at clapping to another.
I think it does help though when these guys kind of step away and do something else, like Jason Garrett has been, right, and then go back into coaching. I mean, I guess we've seen it more at the college level, but
Not the news I expected to drop this morning. I thought they would take some time.
The other news I
hey,
saw.
sometimes you gotta just rip the Band-Aid,
true.
or if you take too much time to think about it, then
Tell that to Ozzie Newsome, yeah.
you got a whole nother year there.
Outside of football and to baseball, it did come out earlier this morning. But Nolan Arenado is going back to the NL West, traded from the St. Louis Cardinals to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So the
Wow.
Arizona Diamondbacks find their third baseman, and Nolan Arenado, who waives his no trade clause.
It was Arenado and cash for one prospect, which tells you that is a supreme salary dump, and those Cardinals are going to be bad this year.
Yeah, hey.
It's the NL Central, baby. I miss baseball.
All right.
Almost back.
Do you guys have a whiteboard over there?
I do.
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, we'll go poll result and trivia, and then we'll go whiteboards.
Let's do it.
All right. So our poll result: which over are you guys taking? Opening overs. Which divisional game do you have an early appetite for the over on? 49ers Seahawks over 45.5. Bills Broncos over 46.5. Texans Patriots over 41, or Bears Rams over 50.5. And our chat is going with the over. 39% of them in Denver. Bills Broncos over 46.5. Second place would have been the Seahawks and 49ers game over that 45.5, which I disagree with, but we'll hear about that in a second. Going to Ticker Trivia, presented by City Light Shine, available at Total Wine, Lee's Discount Liquor, and here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Was a baseball question for you guys today, and it is written as: 2 legends of the game, Hank Aaron and Frank Robinson, were elected into the National Baseball Hall of Fame on this date in sports history, January 13th, 1982. Between the two of them, 3-parter here. How many All-Star appearances, home runs, and MVP honors do Hank Aaron and Frank Robinson have? And the answer would be between the two Hall of Famers, the Hammer and the Judge, have combined for 39 All-Star appearances, 1,341 home runs, and three league MVP honors in their careers. Hank Aaron had 755 career home runs, and that was the MLB record for 33 years until surpassed by Barry Bonds in 2007. And Frank Robinson was the first player in Major League Baseball history to be named MVP in both the National and American leagues, with the Reds in the NL in 1961 and with the O's in the AL in 1966. So ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine. The answer would be 39 All-Star appearances, 3,141 home runs, and 3 league MVPs.
I told you, I miss baseball.
Now that we've got some trivia too. And news dropping all the time. You're going to have to fill us in with all the movement from this
I'm ready.
off season.
I'm ready. Well, all of Scott Boris's clients aren't going to sign until May anyway, so we got some time.
Well, one did sign in Chicago.
That's true.
That's right.
Which says more about the Red Sox than anything, but I could do a whole hour show about that. Right, Breslow.
Ryan, kick it off with your best bets because then we'll just show our whiteboards.
All right.
We kind of went through ours.
We got 3 on the hard water, the NHL, 2 puck lines, and an over on the total. So Canadians, Capitals, over 6. You're laying a -120 here at the South Point. But I do think we'll have plenty of goals there. The one matchup earlier this season between the two teams was an 8-4 final. So thinking we're going to get goals there. Going with the Tampa Bay Lightning, laying the puck and a half in Pittsburgh against the Penguins, getting +180 there. The Lightning have been a wagon. They have won 10 straight. Alex had them on the puck line last night in a rematch against the Flyers. They covered it. So if you had been playing the puck line with the Lightning in the last 10 games, you have won 8 of them.
Wow.
Let's hope they keep it rolling. The Carolina Hurricanes, minus the puck and a half in St. Louis against the Blues. Yeah, Carolina has lost or is coming off a loss to the Red Wings. But the Blues are also coming off of 4 straight losses by themselves. So thinking both teams, yeah, it'll be hard fought, but trusting more Hurricanes there. Laying the puck and a half, +150 there. And then the 2 in the divisional round. I like the under in San Francisco and Seattle, under 45.5. And then the under in New England, Houston, or Texans and Patriots, under 41. Taking the unders in both of those games.
I do just want to throw in, because I did make Tampa Bay 165 on the money line. It's -135, so I do think there's some value there, going money line or puck line. And same thing goes for Carolina. I've got them closer to $2 road favorites over the Blues. So those were 2 money line or puck line that I was looking at too. Okay, just to reiterate mine, Aggies +9.5 against Tennessee, Virginia +3.5, or there are some 4s out there against Louisville, and then 2 overs. I also liked Ryan's over too. There's so many 6s today. Normally we're seeing 6.5, so my numbers are a little bit higher there. So those are my 2 overs: Vancouver, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh. Matt, your best bets today, and then give us your teaser for this weekend.
Yeah, I promised this tease about an hour ago, so here's the payoff. I'm going with the 6-point tease in the NFL with the 49ers up to 13, and then what was the other side? Give me Denver. I've been talking Denver the whole show, and I forget that's the leg of the teaser. I think the Broncos, I think, win that game. They're severely undervalued by the books. I may even, before we leave this building, take a look at some of the exactas to win the whole shebang. And then on the hardwood, I'm going with 2 Nebraska-based teams. I'm going Nebraska, Oregon under. I already mentioned Nebraska's defense and how they limit opponents to under 67 points per game on average, and Oregon is really struggling. Georgetown's struggling even worse. I think Creighton blows them out at home in Omaha. So I like Creighton, especially with the number going against them down to like 8 or so. I got it at 9 earlier. So those are my 2, plus that 6-point tease of the 49ers, who I don't think win the game, but I don't think they get smoked, and the Broncos, who I think win that game straight up. You get them to 6 points as a dog at home.
Love it. Any final thoughts?
I did want to apologize to Jern, because yesterday he asked if Connor Bedard was back, and he was over the weekend, but flu bug came around to the Blackhawks, so he was ruled out 30 minutes prior to puck drop. And then I believe he also commented, "Hold still," because I was moving my board around so much. So if you want to screenshot it, there you go. But thank you for being here.
Thank you for bringing that up. Speaking of the other Connor McDavid, he's got a crazy point streak going. They are in action again tonight.
Against the Predators, yeah.
It's a -130. I know Nashville's been playing better, but I can see the Oilers kind of continuing this win streak, getting on a roll here, getting hot at the right time.
What do you have them priced as at tonight?
In this game, I'm pretty close, to be honest. It's not much higher, so it wasn't enough to make it a play.
So
140, yeah.
I was leaning to putting the Oilers on my board minus the $1.5, but then I realized that they have not won a single game in the second of a back-to-back this season.
Oh, no.
So with the Preds, kind of fighting for pride, and the Oilers not being able to get it done in any prior instance this season on a back-to-back, couldn't lay the $1.5 there.
That's a good point.
That's tough. That's back-to-back. Yikes.
They are playing better than they were for the majority of the year, but still, we don't know if we have 2 goalies that can go.
I'm laughing.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Nights.
Joey B calling me out on my handwriting. Every single show I come on, do I not make fun of my own terrible handwriting? Believe me, Joey, if I could type on a whiteboard, I would. That's what I do with everything else in my life. I'm a doctor in handwriting only, baby. Let's go.
You should show them your notes for the game tonight.
I'm much more neat on when it comes to my game prep for the games I'm calling.
That is like perfection, both teams, both sides. So we'll give you credit there. My last thing I do just want to kind of throw out there, because I kind of just said same with Matt, but going through this weekend, I want to officially give my 4 teams that I think will move on. And I am going with both 1 seeds on Saturday. Seattle Seahawks get it done. I'm going with the Denver Broncos, who I do think are undervalued in the market. I think they get the win here at home. And then Sunday, I'm going with the Patriots. They're the home team. They've been playing some really good football. Defense has looked better and better as the season's gone on, even though the Texans have one of the best defenses. I think their offense is going to do just enough. And the same thing goes for the Rams. I think they will get just enough stops against the Bears and Caleb Williams. And I do trust that offense there with Matthew Stafford and company. So those are my final 4, with the Seahawks playing the Rams and the Broncos hosting the Patriots in the conference round. Okay, that is it for us. Thank you, everybody who watched live. If there's any more comments, we love hearing from you guys. Even if you are making odds or making fun of our handwriting, we still appreciate it. We really do. Matt, thank you. It's always fun. It's nice to get to break down those games. If you have any props that come to mind later on throughout the week, let us know. We'll share with everybody who watches. Ryan, we'll find some prop bets as the week goes on, really dive into these games. As of right now, we like unders, so we might be looking for different ways to play those unders as the week comes up. Thank you to our crew, and Jerry, Sean, Vince, and Andrew. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll be back Thursday, 10 a.m. And then Friday, we have our noon show, Football Frenzy. Myself, Ryan, Vinny, and Chris. So make sure you guys bookmark that now, noon on Friday. Thank you. I see some likes coming in on the show as well. We appreciate you guys. Share, like, and subscribe. For Matt Neverett, for Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. We'll see you again tomorrow. Cash some tickets. Best of luck, everybody, tonight on all your bets. We'll be back tomorrow.